Hello everyone and welcome back to Giant Fire Breathing Robot on YouTube. My name is Craig Withers and we are continuing with our Hearthstone coverage today. We have another in our series of videos with Hearthstone starter deck guides, which is a bit of a mouthful. Today we are going to be looking at the Rogue. As with all of the other decks in our series, this deck is made up purely of basic cards. Which means that there are no cards in here you have to pay money for, and none of them which you will have to craft. So you don't have to drop any cash on any booster packs, you don't have to spend time disenchanting cards through the crafting system. All you need to do is get the Rogue, or get any of these classes up to level 10, and you will have access to every single one of the cards that you will be putting in this deck. So, without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, got the name right and everything. So, as with the other decks, I'm just going to rattle through, put the whole deck together, and then I'll come back and speak about the cards individually. Well, maybe not all of them individually. I'll pick out some of them. A lot of these, you see these in just about. If you've spent any time looking at any of our other deck guides, which you absolutely should, because they're all fantastic. Yeah, if you've seen any of our other videos, you'll notice these. You'll notice an awful lot of the same cards coming up again and again and again. That's not simply because we have a lack of imagination. That's because at this level of the game, many of these cards are fantastic in pretty much any deck that you put them into. Grab sprint here. What else do we miss? Oh yes, we missed Older for Stoker. Never find that. No. Oh, not the chance. Anyway, and 2 ogres. So there we go. That's our 30 cards. So, so the Rogue in general, you see there, the deck has got a nice smooth mana curve there, unlike some of the other ones, which is a bit up and down. What this means is that generally you will be wanting to do most of your damage in the early game. The Rogue is not a late game. It's not a late bloomer. The Rogue is a very much a direct damage class, and much in the kind of the same, not the same way, but the same, and not the same methods, but the same as. In a similar way is the word I'm looking for. In a similar way to the way the Mage is a direct damage class, so is the Rogue, although the Rogue is much sneakier about it. Rogue makes use of a lot of a mechanic called combo, which oddly enough is not actually present in any of the starting cards. So what I'll do is I'll click over to the expert cards just now. So you see this here in a couple of ones I've got. This combo keyword. Basically what this means is, if this is the first card that you played, eviscerates the out of your hand, it would only do 2 damage. If you had done anything, played any other card before that, the combo effect comes into work. It has to be a card. You can't just like fire off your hero power, unfortunately, for example. Some of these, most of the times, most of these effects are fantastic. And they just do some really interesting stuff. I'll come to later on to show you one in particular. One way the combo effect can be used to, the combo keyword can be used to almost devastating effect. But I'll rattle through some of the cards that we've got here. Certainly the specific Rogue cards. Backstab, 0 mana for 2 damage. That's that's great. Again, only to an undamaged minion, which makes it slightly less useful. Although you can use that to set up a combo. Partner that with one of the expert cards that you might want to swap in later on. Deadly Poison, give your weapon +2 attack. That's great early in the game when you can generate your own hero power. However, it also comes into its own later in the game. If you drop it onto an Assassin's Blade, which is a 3 attack weapon, drop that on and it's a 5 attack weapon, and you'll get 4 attacks out of that. So that's 20 damage. Unless your opponent does something. Example, like drops a Swamp Ooze to get rid of your weapon or controls you somehow. Fan of Knives, 1 damage to all minion and draw a card. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. Again, if you've watched our Mage video, you'll see that I didn't take the Arcane Explosion because I wasn't keen on just the 1 damage. This one you get card draw in there as well, which is not too bad. Yeah, I mean, as I say, most of the rest of these cards are ones that you've already seen. Shattered Sun, Cleric, Chillwind, Yeti, Notion Inventor. The Shieldmaster, we've got 2 of them in there, partly because the Rogue, there's no single Rogue minion, like a specific class minion with taunt on it. So if you want some taunt in your deck, you're going to have to go outside the class. You don't have anything specific to the Rogue. Assassin's Blade, as I said earlier on, that's a great card. Assassinate, destroy an enemy minion. And that's good, obviously. You're not going to be wanting to use 5 mana to destroy in the early game. An early game minion, but as long as you're trading that up from, say, turn 6 onwards, even I guess you could say if you trade it off for 5 mana creature, then at least you're breaking even. But obviously, as with anything else, you want to kind of try and trade up to get the better deal out of that. Boulder Fist Ogre, I mean, the 2 Boulder Fist Ogres in there and your Stormwind Champion, they are really your big kind of stomping minions in this deck. Obviously, Stormwind Champion, you're boosting, you're kind of buffing other classes as well. Sprint. We only get the 1 sprint in there. It's partly because 7 mana for 4 cards isn't a huge deal, but it's a nice card to kind of round out the deck. It gives you a bit more draw. If, to be honest, it would be one of the first ones I would want to drop. Certainly by the time you get, that, by the time you have 7 mana, you're almost certainly going to have enough space in your hand for another 4 cards. But it's a bit expensive. It's one of the first cards I would drop once you kind of start getting into to kind of folding in the expert cards. Yeah, there's not really an awful lot to say. I haven't got Sap in this. This is a card you'll actually see an awful lot. I've seen a lot of rogue decks. I'm not keen on it because you're not actually destroying an enemy minion. All you're doing is bouncing it back to their hand, so it's just going to come back to bite you maybe next turn, the turn after. I'm not keen on that. I like knowing that a minion is gone once I'm done with it. Sinister Strike, I mean, that's 1 mana for 3 damage to the hero. I mean, that's 1 mana for 3 damage is good, but it's limited, it's specific to the enemy hero. I'd rather just, spend that mana on bringing out another minion and having some more board presence. Yeah, let me see, what else do we not have on it? We don't have Vanish. Again, the same problem with Vanish as I have with Sap. You're not really doing anything. You're spending 6 mana just to slow things down for a turn or 2. I mean, it can be useful later on in the game. You can kind of bounce a load of big, big mana minions back. I don't know. I'm not sold on that one. Yeah. So cards that you might want to add into, as before, as with many decks, the Azure Drake. Spell damage +1. That's going to work really well with Fan of Knives in particular. Obviously, you're getting card draw on that. I mean, generally, Azure Drake is a solid pick for most decks, for most classes. But yeah, it works really well with a lot of things that the rogue has got going on. As I say, it does a lot of direct damage. A lot of that is through spells. So that spell damage synergizes really well with a lot of your existing things. The combo I was telling you about earlier on. Now this is actually incredibly weird. This is the Defias Ringleader combo. You still see an awful lot. It is likely to get you a bit of hate because it is quite cheesy. So basically, what you need to do to get this work is you need to have the coin. So you need an extra. I mean, you can do this from turn 1 if you've got the coin. Drop the coin to play Defias Ringleader. It comes out. Does nothing. So you got a 2/2 creature on the deck without any bother. Hopefully it survives the next turn because the chances are it will, because it's a 2 toughness creature. There's an excellent, or 2 toughness minion. Sorry, there's an excellent chance that it will. So then what you do is you then play Shadow Step. There it is. Oh, goodness sake, Craig. Pardon me, folks. There we go. Shadow Step. I knew I had it. Play a Shadow Step on the next turn, which is 0 mana, which returns a friendly minion to your hand, and it will then cost 2 less. So you've got your Defias Ringleader out there on the floor. On the next turn, you play your Shadow Step, bring the Defias Leader back, and then you immediately play the Ringleader again. And because the Ringleader has a combo effect on it, with 2/1 Defias Bandit, then you are going to get another creature. So what you're actually going to have is, because you play the coin the first turn, the combo effect kicks in the first time you play the Defias Ringleader. So you end up with the Defias Ringleader and a Defias Bandit on the deck, on the table, sorry. And then the next turn you use Shadow Step to return the Defiance Ringleader back to your hand, and then you immediately play him again because he's a combo. Because it's a combo, it comes out as a and summons another 2/1 Defiance Bandit. So there's an excellent chance that the first Defiance Bandit that you got from your first turn will be dead, because any smart opponent will take that out immediately. So there's an excellent chance that you're going to have 3 2/1 or 3 2 attack creatures on the table from turn 2, which is going to be very difficult for any opponent to deal with. Now granted, 2 of those are 2/1 and only 1 is a 2/2, but still that's 6 damage, that you can chuck out, and it's 4 damage that they're going to have to take care of. That's an that doesn't sound like an awful lot, but trust me, the first time you manage to get it to work, it is incredible. It's also incredibly annoying to face. But yeah, so there you go. So that's a quick example of I stumbled over that a wee bit, but hopefully you got the gist of that. That's exactly how you can kind of use the combo mechanic to your advantage in certain situations. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, I mean, it's a fairly straightforward deck. Because we're not using any combo stuff in there, there isn't really an awful lot of kind of tactics to talk about. It's a fairly straightforward deck, as with some of the others. It's a lot of direct damage. There's nothing really. I mean, the deadly poison, as I say, you can use that early game for an early bonus. You can also save them up for an Assassin's Blade. If you're lucky enough to get 2 of these early game, use 1 and save the other, and the off chance that you get Assassin's Blade later. You can always drop it later on, it only costs 1 mana to power up your daggers in the late game if you need a bit of extra damage. But yeah, there you go. Fairly straightforward deck, as I say. So yeah, I hope you liked that. As with any of the other decks, as I say, experiment with it, drop things in, drop things out, and let us know how you get on. If you feel something isn't working, you could get rid of it. The Bloodfriend Raptors, for example, get rid of those. Bring in things, just about anything else. What we've got, even bring in Frostwolf Grunt, and so you get some more taunt in there, and bring in the River Crocolisks. If you needed a bit more strength, a bit more toughness, but a bit less damage. Some more Tide Hunters if you want to get some more things on the boards. You could if you want to drop in a Dalaran Mage, get some spell damage working for your Fan of Knives and your other things. So yeah, don't know. Give it a shot, see how it goes. Let us know how you got on in the comments below. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed what you saw, subscribe to our videos, and we'll keep you up to date with our ongoing adventures. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you then.